Front and Center. Front and Center. A focus on important and significant developments affecting the lives of Filipinos, not only in the Philippines, but also those living and working around the world. Join us in Front and Center. Front and Center. Here on Radyo Pilipinas World Service.
Welcome to Front and Center, where we focus on developments in the Philippines, legislation that provides policies and directions that strives to promote a better economy for the country, issues that concern the welfare and well-being of every Filipino. All of these and more will be Front and Center. And you can watch this program on our Facebook page and YouTube channel. That's Radyo Pilipinas World Service. And you can hear this broadcast live on our audio streaming through PBS eVox receiver app. Also on our shortwave broadcast through following shortwave frequencies: 12.020 MHz, 15.640 MHz, and 17.665 MHz. This is your host, Jerome Toledo. Let's begin Front and Center on Radyo Pilipinas World Service.
Front and Center. Front and Center. Here on Radyo Pilipinas World Service.
The Philippine Rice, a vast maritime area located east of the Philippines, is one of the hosts of marine biodiversity in the world. Efforts are underway to protect one of the most diverse marine environment, starting off with a 5-year plan to protect and conserve its resources. So what is this 5-year protection plan and how the government will protect the said area? And to give us more details regarding this 5-year protection plan and how the government through DENR, or Department of Environment and Natural Resources, will do. So joining me now this morning live in studio, the Assistant Director of Biodiversity Management Bureau of the Department of Environment and Natural Resources, Assistant Director Mariglo Rosaida Laririt. Good morning, Assistant Director Laririt. Thank you so much for joining us in the program.
Good morning, Sir Jerome. It's my pleasure and my honor to be here with you today, joining you in your show Front and Center. And it would be also my honor to share what we know, what we in DNR know, and what we plan to do for our Philippine rice.
All right. Thank you so much. So this is going to be a deep discussion and interesting topic regarding the Philippine rice. So, 5-year plan of the government that is through Philippine Rice Integrated Conservation for Enduring Legacies through Ecosystem Support Services. So this is a very good acronym for the Philippine rice. So what is this all about?
Okay, so first of all, the acronym PRICELESS very aptly describes what we, not just in DNR, no, but all the other entities of government as well as non-government are trying to do, because indeed the Philippine rice is priceless. Wala siyang katumbas na halaga dahil sa sobra niyang, it's just too very precious.
Yes.
No? And I think before I even elaborate on what the project is about, I think it would be useful for us to share with our listeners, our viewers, what the Philippine rice is about and what it means to have jurisdiction over such an important and significant spot in the planet. No?
Okay, so we're going to actually show the map of the
Yes,
Philippine
please.
rice over on our Facebook Live, also on our YouTube account. So you can see the map there. It's Philippine rice, formerly known as Benham rice. So
Correct.
can you tell us about this place?
Okay. So firstly, it's important for us to understand, of course, where it is. No, it's in the eastern seaboard of the Philippines. It's towards the Pacific Ocean. The other also very important body of water, of course, is the West Philippine Sea. So ito naman, the Philippine rice is on the other side, on the eastern side. But in terms of its expanse, the area that it covers, it covers an area of around 10.5 million hectares. So if you were to consider the size of that, no, an Olympic size swimming pool, for example, is 50 meters long.
Yeah.
No, so if you were to swim that length we're talking about 10.5 million hectares total area. That's a lot
large.
of swimming for
It-
anyone to do.
Yes, that's right. And it would
Even
take
if you were a
days.
whale, yes.
Yeah.
Even if you were a whale, even if you were a marine creature, that's quite substantial. No, the size of it. And then we may recall that the Philippine rice or the Benham rice specifically was in the news fairly recently because of the outstanding coverage of corals that were found by scientists in one of its shallower areas. And by the way, it's very deep. It's not only very big, but the Philippine rice is also very deep. No, it covers in terms of depth. It runs from between 50 meters at its shallowest to around 3,420 meters, if I'm not mistaken. So that's very, very deep. 150 meters is around 50 meters is 150 feet. No, and so you multiply by 3 very quickly the 3,420 meters. That's how deep it is. So, in other words, it's important for us Filipinos to first know where it's located, and that it also is bordered by several regions, okay, of the country. So it's not just one region, it's not just one province, but several, 5, I think. And the nearest land point or coast is around 180 kilometers in Barangay Pandan in Catanduanes in Bicol, Region 5. So I think that will give us an appreciation of the location as well as the size. No, so now what we want to do is we want to protect it. Okay, and so this brings us to the priceless project that you have mentioned.
So,
yeah.
okay.
So in the first place, why do we even need to protect? We need to protect because there is wealth there. That's part of our national wealth.
What I see there on the Philippine rice, its resources is primarily oceanic, maritime. What are the resources that has been found there in the Philippine rice so far?
Well, when we say the marine ecosystem, obviously we have fish and all kinds of sea creatures that would comprise our contribute to our protein diet as Filipinos. But also, we are all just beginning to scratch the tip of the iceberg as far as what other resources may be found there. We have not, as a country, done sufficient exploration to know exactly what minerals, for example, may be lying underneath, maybe even natural gas and things like that we have found in other parts of the country. So, precisely for that reason, Sir Jerome, we need to protect it as well as explore it and hopefully eventually have the capacity to utilize these resources for the benefit of future Filipinos.
Okay, so we will have to dig deeper regarding the protection of the Philippine rice. But this Philippine rice is included in the Philippine Rice Marine Resource Reserve. So that's a legally designated protected area. So that has been declared by a presidential proclamation number 489. That's on May in May 2018. So. And also this project, the Priceless, is a 5-year term. So, what is the specific timeline and current progress for the formal inclusion of that protected area, which is the PRMRR, under the expanded National Integrated Protection Area System, Assistant Director?
Okay, so very, very grateful for your question because it gives us an opportunity to further locate ourselves. So the PRMRR or the Philippine Rice Marine Resource Area Reserve is a spot within the Philippine rice. So if the Philippine rice, as I mentioned earlier, is around 10.5 billion hectares, the PRMRR is actually covers around 350 52,390 hectares. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
And that is further zoned into a strict protection zone of around 47,000 hectares, and the rest is what we call multiple use zone.
Okay.
So this approach is coming out of the guidelines set out by the expanded NIPAS, or National Integrated Protected Area System Act, which or RA 11038, which provides for the management of all the protected areas in the country. So just to repeat, the PRMRR is but a small part of the
small part.
Philippine rice, no? But we would like to highlight this, that the work that Priceless is going to do is going to focus on first the PRMRR. Okay, so this 5-year project is going to focus on the following. Number one, it will strengthen a protected area management board. In other words, this is a group of people who will have management oversight over this PRMRR. Secondly, there will be adaptive management that is science-based,
Okay.
okay, for monitoring and evaluation, and that is where DENR will exhibit its responsibility and its strength. Okay, and thirdly, there will be interagency enforcement coordination,
Okay.
especially for areas that are found outside of the PRMRR.
Okay.
And fourthly, we would like the PRMRR to be officially legislated under the eNIPAS. So that will mean completion of its suitability assessment, and finally, congressional action. So those are the four major items that this Priceless project, which will run for 5 years,
Okay.
those are the four items that Priceless would like to accomplish.
Okay. So is this project Priceless renewable, Assistant Director?
Well, okay. Firstly, we are doing this. BMB of DNR is doing this out of the support of the seventh replenishment cycle of the Global Environments Facility, together with Conservation International. So, basically, they're the funder. We are the
okay.
executing agency.
So it's a non-government organization that funding this project.
Correct.
Okay.
And the government entity, in this case, our bureau, Biodiversity Management Bureau of the DNR, is the executing agency.
All right. Okay.
And we are supported by yet another non-government entity, which is PEMC. So it's our support partner. So in other words, here we demonstrate collaboration, cooperation between public sector, which is government, and non-government entities. On your question as to whether this will continue, I think every project, especially those that run for 5 years, all executing agencies would want to see the sustainability of the project, right? So we have 5 years to work on that, no, to ensure that there will be continuity. So I cannot answer definitively, but only that we will do our best to find ways to ensure that this will continue.
Okay, I remember it's just started this month, this Priceless project.
Yes, correct.
So how is it now? What's the groundwork that has been done there?
Actually, even before the official start, our bureau has already drafted a management plan, and we are also acting as the de facto kind of protected area superintendent, because there is no protected area superintendent yet.
Okay.
Although a protected area management board has already been, the members of the board have already been identified. So a lot of groundwork has been done. We've also met with other government entities, especially those who are in charge of enforcement, like PCG, Philippine Navy, the Maritime Group. You know, so those are the ones that are really committed to monitoring and enforcing the laws in the area.
Okay.
So, yeah, so we've done initial meetings with them.
Okay, so that area is primarily for fishing the Philippine rice. So, what specific technologies or systems that will be deployed under Priceless Project to curb illegal, unregulated, and unreported fishing in the Philippine rice? As we know, we have established that this area is a very large area.
Yes.
So how this project will or what specific technology or systems that will be deployed under this project?
Well, considering what we have in the Philippines at the moment, we can envision coordinated physical and digital patrolling, meaning integrating the strengths of our maritime and aerial patrols, owned by the Coast Guards, Philippine Navy, as I mentioned, in the PNP Maritime Group. There will be vessel monitoring measures and other ways to track, no? And we'll also be establishing littoral monitoring stations. Buoys will also be installed. In other words, considering the size of the area that we're trying to monitor, whatever resource becomes available to be dedicated to this site, we will definitely deploy. So in other words, everything that I've mentioned so far paints a picture of a variety of technologies as well as a variety of approaches, no? Or whatever, like I said, is available to the entities that are in charge of enforcement. We will also be using remote and deep sea research technologies. We have baited remote underwater video systems, drop cameras, ROVs or ROV assisted surveys, as well as geospatial data sets that we will be integrating with NAMRIA.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that's a lot of scientific work that will be that will happen there in that particular area, which is the more than 47,000 hectare strict zone, and
Yes, that's just the strict protection zone.
Strict
and
protection
outside
zone.
of that is the whatever is left from the 352,390 hectares that I mentioned that comprises the PRMRR.
And in that particular strict protection zone, there is no fishing activity that will be happening there.
Well, that is the goal, no?
Okay.
But as very well we have been stating, it's very difficult to enforce. However, for that particular point, we need to do a lot of community engagement. We need to be able to convince our kababayans that fish in the area that we can consider this as a time deposit, perhaps, to leave an area outside of extraction with the sole purpose of saving for the future.
Okay.
Every marine protected area in the country or in the world would have that challenge of whether we are able to impose and we are able to enforce restraint amongst fisher folk, from taking from the core zone or the strict protection zone.
Yeah, it's because it's their livelihood, fishing.
Yes. And the truth is, just by sheer distance of it, I mean, are we able to designate marker buoys so that they know exactly where the strict protection zone begins? So these are the challenges, and I know that there are technological ways to address this. You don't have to, unlike before, where you have to really lay out physical buoys. Maybe you can have some buoys that can ping your phone, and then you can integrate and you can be told, you can't go beyond a certain point. But until we get to that status as a country, we will have to really depend on the understanding and the cooperation and the support of our fisher folk. And the other thing, Sir Jerome, is that there are also fisher folks that are not necessarily Filipinos. So that's another way. How do we really enforce our laws in that area, considering the size of it. No?
Okay.
So
So
yeah.
there comes the coordination between with our law enforcement agencies,
Yes.
particularly the Philippine Coast Guard and to some extent the Philippine Navy as well.
Yes.
Okay.
And as I mentioned, cooperation, coordination, a lot of engagement with our kababayan na fisher folk, because they're out there more frequently than our law enforcers. So they will be our first observers. They'll be the first ones who will see, and they'll be able to identify the or determine the presence of other entities there.
Okay. I got a question out of that. Was the fisher folk, notified, or they've been discussed, or were they get notified about this priceless project?
Yes, yes, indeed, yes. So we mentioned, prior groundwork, and that is something that we've done. In fact, there's a short video that demonstrates this information campaign about the project and about the need for us to protect the Philippine rice.
Okay.
And I think that most of our fisher folk are on board. They know the need for protection. They would like to participate in these efforts. But what I do know also is that they'd like to see government step up and really match all these words with action. So that's something that we would like to show them.
Okay, that's great. Okay, but before I jump to my next question, so I'll just go back to the 47,000 hectare strict protection zone. So, okay, so would there be any chance that this area will be expanded, and what specific activity that will be done in that strict protected area?
Okay, so if we were to base it on the Inay Pass, which we are working towards, okay, na mapasakop doon, that we can include the PRMRR there. Strict protection zones are areas with basically no human activities.
Okay.
So whether we will be able to expand that before the end or at the end of the 5-year project or not, remains to be seen. But in terms of management approaches, because of the sheer size of the Philippine rice, 47,000 hectares is really a very, very small area as far as strict protection zones are concerned, no, relative to the largeness of the total area. So that will depend on a lot of things, no? Whether we're even able to do that, and then we can expand if we see that, or if the protected area management board determines that that is something that must be done.
Okay. So, and also there will be a scientific study in that particular area, not just about get to know what kind of fishes in that particular area, but also the whole scientific study in that particular area, because this is as we mentioned earlier, as we established here, it's a very large area.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. So thank you so much for mentioning that. No, strict protection zones, while there should be no human activities. Of course, scientific research, continuing monitoring and evaluation will have to be conducted and can be conducted in those zones with the express purpose of finding out, exploring what's there, discovering, and putting it in light of the whole ecosystem picture. So what are the plants and animals that are found there? What roles do they play? Not just in the ecosystem of the PRMRR, but especially outside of it. Just to give you an idea about what I mean, our scientists have discovered, for example, that fish larvae that come out of the West Philippine Sea, some of them make their way all the way to the Pacific Ocean. So that is a phenomenon called habitat connectivity. So in other words, when we approach ecosystems for extraction or utilization, we have to be cognizant of the fact that these ecosystems are indeed interconnected, and what we do in one spot may have an impact on many other spots.
Okay, so that's a lot of activities that will happen there. So not just about the fishing research, but also scientific studies.
For
Okay,
sure.
all right. Okay, so given that this project is it involves interagency coordination. So
Yes.
how does this include resolving overlap in jurisdiction between the DNR and the Bureau of Fisheries and Aquatic Resources regarding offshore resource management? Because BFAR is also, although it's a part of the Agriculture Department, but they're involved in protecting our fisheries and their aquatic resources.
Yes. So, the word overlap may be taken both ways, no, either positively or negatively. But I think the relationship between DNR and the Department of Agriculture, and in this particular context, the Bureau of Fisheries and Aquatic Resources of the DA, I think I can only see positive results coming out of that. And instead of just overlap as in like jurisdictional and so on, I think what I see is collaboration. I see a lot of cooperation that's going to happen. DNR, for example, can lead protected area governance.
Yeah.
That's our strength. That's our mandate. We do biodiversity protection, zoning, regulation. DABFAR, on the other hand, leads fisheries management in the multiple use zone, especially, or the special fisheries management area, which is under another Republic Act. That's 10654. So, when we talk about a management plan, it recognizes the strengths of these two entities, where you see the ABFAR focusing on fisheries, for example, like they have tuna conservation measures, management zones using regulated payaw systems.
Okay.
We also see BFAR doing initiatives in catch monitoring,
All right.
okay, via National Stock Assessment Program, fisheries database. In other words, it's their job to track whether fisheries are rising or in a plateau or declining and so on. No? It's more, how this relates to livelihood, how this relates to availability of food to the Filipino people. DNR, on the other hand, is in charge of examining the systems that underpin such a sector. No, so are there a lot of fish? Does that mean the corals underneath them are healthy?
Okay.
Do they have enough support from the ecosystems that are found there? So that's DNR's concern. So in other words, putting the jurisdictions or the tasks of these two entities will give us a much larger and more clear picture of what's happening in that area.
And that data that DNR and this project will be that will be gathered can be used by BFAR, whether they so that they can declare if this area has rich or has vast fisheries or rich marine environment in that area.
Yes, that's the goal, really. And if I just may, perhaps getting this is getting ahead of the story, but imagine if we can make this work. These systems can be replicated, or at least, not to say that we're not doing this elsewhere. There are many efforts that are being done in collaboration with each other. But as we get better in doing this, we can then adopt the lessons that we learn here to other bodies of water. But the PRMRR, of course, is quite special because nga of the size of it and the many challenges that it faces.
Okay, so I will be asking about the protocols that will be establishing under this project, Assistant Director Laririt, particularly in monitoring and reporting unauthorized foreign scientific or commercial presence within the Philippine rice. So, what's in there? What entails in that protocol?
Okay, so we envision the Protected Area Management Board of the PRMRR to be able to examine and require prior clearance and approval of all scientific researches that will be conducted there, may they be local or foreign, no? So everything must go through the PAMB. And to achieve that, the project Priceless will support a standardized protocol. So the PAMB members, the PAMB itself will be trained towards a standardization of protocol for evaluating said applications for scientific researches. But also, Priceless will support a standardized protocol for detection, reporting, verification, and responding to unauthorized activities.
Okay.
We will also be integrating the list of diplomatic and security reporting channels
Okay.
for foreign research vessels. So these protocols will respond directly to documented past incidents of unauthorized foreign survey in the Philippine rice. So in other words, perhaps before we can say that vessels went there, foreign vessels, they studied. There was no clear protocol. So let's learn from all those previous experiences and see how we can make it systematic, and especially for our PAMB to be strong enough and capable enough to lay out the rules and enforce them.
So that does that include coordination with the Department of Foreign Affairs?
Yes, definitely. The DFA is going to be definitely a huge part of this conversation and actualization of the guidelines.
Okay, so they will play a big role or besides the law or maritime law enforcement agencies, so
Yes.
DFA. So they will be in charge of any scientific or foreign scientific research vessels, or they will be coordinating first with the Foreign Affairs Department.
Yes.
Okay,
That's right.
And then after they get clearance from the Foreign Affairs Department, they will proceed in seeking clearance with the Environment and Natural Resources Department.
Yes, but also in different parts of the country there are different management regimes. So
Okay.
for example, there are areas that are covered by very special laws. So if it's a place with indigenous people, for example, then you have to ensure coordination, securing the necessary permits from the said authority. Other areas will just need to go straight to the local government units. But if you're a foreign entity and you're seeking to do scientific research in the Philippine rice or in anywhere in the Philippines for that matter, then your first stop will have to be the Department of Foreign Affairs. The truth, though, is that before foreign researchers go through the process of permitting, they would have already contacted a Philippine entity. Maybe it's a university, or sometimes it's DNR. Maybe sometimes it's BFAR also. So all of us who are contacted by these foreign entities will have to inform them of the protocol.
Okay, so that's good. So there is a coordination between the Foreign Affairs Department and so that they can proceed with participating and joining in this exploration of the Philippine rice.
Yes.
Okay, so What's the DNR plan? I think you've already highlighted this in earlier ago. But what's the plan of the DNR for sustaining the operations and protection of the Philippine rice once the grant period ends in 2030? So it's a 5-year plan.
Now, all protected areas under the Inay Pass are also mandated to or are capacitated to or authorized to impose fee systems for its sustainability. So there is such a thing as the Integrated Protected Area Fund.
Yeah.
Okay, so every time, for example, you go to a protected area for whatever purpose, maybe it's tourism, then you have to be charged a certain fee. Maybe it's an entrance fee. Or if you are extracting from the multiple use zone of said protected area, there will be also a set of approved tariffs for you to settle, or fees for you to settle. So the next 5 years for DNR will be to examine how we can establish such a system for such a challenging site. Like just the practicality of where do you actually charge people, and let's say it's an entrance fee, theoretically, where do you collect, no?
Yeah, that's right.
So it's going to be not easy, I can imagine, but that's something that we have to really determine. Is it are we going to charge for scientific research? All sorts of things. We have to think about the revenue streams that we can gather. But that aside, if we are successful in enlisting the PRMRR under the Inay Pass, then under a congressional act, that will be provided for also in our general appropriations.
And that's a call to action to our lawmakers to actually
Indeed.
fund this project.
Yes, the truth of the matter is that this is so precious. The amount of wealth that belongs to the Filipino people that sits in that part of the world, we're just really beginning to understand. And so it's really worth investing in. So to our lawmakers, the appeal is that yes, please, let's do all that we can to ensure the continuity of the provisioning services that this part of our country is giving to the rest of the country.
And then also it's also part of our exclusive economic zone, the
Indeed,
Philippine
yes.
rice. Okay. So my last question, because we don't have much time left here, Assistant Director Laririt. So how important is this project on protecting our first one is biodiversity in the area, and also second, protecting our territory, and then our natural resources, the third?
Yes. So I've been talking about how special it is, and I'm a biologist, so I'm going to pull out some kind of scientific terms here,
sure.
right? So the PRMRR is known to have unique mesophotic reefs. All right, these are reefs that are found deeper than the usual. When you talk about snorkeling in beaches, when you go out for your outing, you swim a little bit from shore and you see coral reefs, right? But this one, we're talking about reefs that are found between, maybe 30 meters, that's like 100 feet, and even way deeper. So
Yes.
100 feet to 500 feet thereabouts. It's such that the clarity of the water is so much that sunlight can still reach that part of the seabed and enable corals to live. So these are mesophotic reefs.
Okay.
So that's unique. All right. There are pelagic ecosystems. Okay. There are deep sea habitats that may be unique to that area. So we have ecosystem services that are critical to food security, climate resilience, and productivity of our fisheries. So that's one. From a sovereignty perspective, having a PRMRR there is like a launch pad for us to be able to operationalize effective state presence in the Philippine exclusive economic zone
Yes.
in that area. It will hopefully prevent unregulated exploitation of living and non-living marine resources. So Priceless as a project would like to position the PRMRR as a model, a flagship for offshore marine governance, both nationally and globally.
Okay. Okay, so that's the goal, to become a model and flagship
Yes.
of this particular project. Okay, so I would like to get your short message to all Filipinos who are listening and watching this broadcast. So, what is your message to Filipinos who are as we know, we are still fighting for the West Philippine Sea, and at the same time, the awareness of the Philippine rights is relatively, we can say, it is known, but it's not yet they're not fully aware of what is the Philippine rights is all about. So, what is your message to Filipinos regarding this?
Okay, first of all, we are an archipelagic nation. Maybe we knew that when we were in grade school, but what that means is something that a lot of us don't really fully comprehend. We are 13% land, our country, and we are 87% ocean. What does that mean? That means that our future really is largely dependent on the sea. And if we are to be judged on the basis of how we treat our ocean, then I think that we will be judged very poorly. We have not been able to exercise our responsibilities, and that's why we have, a lot of these problems ranging from pollution to declining fish catch to now, threats to our sovereignty, etc. So that full range of problems that are associated with ocean governance, I think, stems from most Filipinos' lack of appreciation and understanding of our natural environment, our geography, and that's why I requested that the map be shown so that we have a good grasp of what we're talking about, as well as the reality that our population is growing, and so if we are to look at our resources, that land that we are looking at, 13% of our national territory, may not be enough to provide for all our needs. And so what are we going to explore for the years that lie ahead? So my message to all Filipinos is for us to educate ourselves on our geography, on our responsibilities towards our natural environment, and particularly to our ocean.
Okay, and we hope and we wish luck on the Priceless project, so that more Filipinos will be more aware of what's in there in the Philippine rights, particularly its resources, and hopefully I heard there's a energy potential in that area. So we look forward to it, and we wish the DNR good luck regarding the implementation of this Priceless project. And with that, thank you so much for joining us in the program, for explaining the Priceless project and how what the government is doing regarding this project and how we can benefit from this one. So thank you, Assistant Director Mary Glo Rosaida Laririt from Biodiversity Management Bureau of the Department of Environment and Natural Resources.
Thank you so much.
All right, and with that, we now conclude this edition of Front and Center on Radyo Pilipinas World Service. Together with our technical team headed by Ms. Susan Aison, on Warcast, Justin Ocias, and live stream, Mr. Leo Magpayo. This is your host, Jerome Toledo. Until next time, mabuhay.
You have just heard and watched Front and Center. Front and Center. Join us again for another edition here on Radyo Pilipinas World Service. Front and Center.